Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Playlist Podcast. With me, Jack Willard, joined by Gemma Roots.
Hi.
Hello, Gemma. Nice to see you. Haven't seen you for a little while.
No, I haven't seen you for ages.
Yeah, you good?
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Can't complain. Hello to all the listeners as well. Yes, I'm back for this episode. I'm kind of part-time now on the podcast, safe to say. I edit it though, so I do my bit.
You do pull your weight.
Yeah, I still pull my weight, but yeah, I'm still here for the occasional episode like today. So yeah, but don't worry, I'll be making more appearances as much as I can. It's just life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it, Gemma?
Yeah.
It does. So, but I wanted to appear on this episode because we're going to be talking about probably my favourite decade of music, arguably, and that is the 90s. So on our awards thing we did last year, where we asked you guys to give us suggestions for episodes, this was one of the most plugged. I think we got asked this at least a dozen times. So clearly, you people wanted us to talk about the 90s, which is absolutely fine. So here we are. So what we're going to be doing is we've both picked 5 songs each, from the 90s, obviously, and we're just going to be talking about them. So that's pretty much it. But we've checked each other's lists, so we know for a fact that we both haven't got the same list, or at least the same song more than once. So that's fine. So you're going to be getting at least 10 different songs we're going to be talking about, because in the past, we haven't checked our lists, and we have had the same stuff sometimes, haven't we, Gemma?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. But then
Yeah.
it's good to have that conversation.
Exactly. That is true. But yeah, here we go. So yes, best of the 90s. So you know what? Do you want to start, Gemma? What's your first song?
I'll go first. So I've gone for Three Lions, which was by David Baddiel, Frank Skinner, and the Lightning Seeds.
Nice.
So that was released in 1996. It was a re-release. Then in '98, I believe, for the World Cup.
Mm.
And it got a #1, which was understandable.
Of course, yeah. I mean, whenever England are doing well in either the Euro or the World Cup, this song is kind of overplayed in the country, I guess.
Yeah, and Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, and Sweet Caroline. Yeah. I think if you're not English, I guess this song probably doesn't mean as much to you, maybe. You never know, it might, depending what country you're from. But I mean, I can't see Americans, for example, getting as patriotic about this song as we do. But each their own. I mean, to be fair, no offense, America, but at least England actually, have got a good history with football. You have American football, we have our football,
Yes.
which is not soccer, for the record.
It's football, not soccer.
Yeah, it's football. Thank you. Sorry, Americans, but just saying. Yeah, good song, Gemma. I'm guessing you like this song, right?
Yeah. Any song that's good with the football fans is good with me.
Yeah.
Recently got into watching football, so I thought it was a good song to have on the list.
What team do you support? Like, not just talking about England, but like Premier League.
Premier League?
Yeah, go on.
Manchester City.
Ooh, right, let's move on now before this turns ugly. Disgusting behaviour, Gemma. I mean, God.
Who do you support?
I'm kind of torn between two. So if I follow my parents and my family, it'll be Man United. However, because of where I live and because I've actually been to quite a few of their home games, Brighton. Yeah. So
they've done well this year in the Premier League.
They have done well. Indeed. Anyway, we'll move on because it's not a football podcast. It's about music, so I feel like we're going to lose people now. But yeah, good song, Gemma. Good song. Right. Okay. My first one then I have picked it's by a band called Hanson, and it's called Bop. Do you know it, Gemma? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I'm not going to sing it to you, but I'm pretty sure you'll recognise it if you hear it.
Yeah. I think I know which one you mean.
Yeah, it's quite a catchy song. One of the reasons why I picked this actually is because Busted have recently actually released their own version of this song as well, teaming up with Hanson, which is obviously to promote their upcoming tour, I believe. Busted 2.0 or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Their new kind of sound. So, and it just reminded me of this tune really, because this, I don't know many Hanson songs, but I know that this was a huge hit when it came out, and it is kind of like their signature song. I think they released it when they were like teenagers, because if you look at the music video, they literally look like they're 13 or 14. I'm not joking. They look so young. Correct me if I'm wrong, they might have been older or even younger. But yeah, but it's a tune. It's a really good upbeat tune. It's a little bit cheesy, you could probably argue, but it's very catchy. And I
Yeah.
don't know, it just screams 90s to me. So yeah, that's all I can say about that, really.
Interesting choice though for you.
Yeah, I thought so
Right,
too.
so I've gone for I'm Every Woman by Whitney Houston.
Oh yeah,
Big in the 80s and 90s. You can't not have Whitney Houston for this episode.
fair enough.
So it was released in 92,
Hmm.
but it was originally released by Shaka Khan in 78.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say Shaka Khan. Yeah, she did the original, didn't she?
Yeah.
Mm.
But Whitney re-released it as part of the soundtrack for Bodyguard.
Mm. Nice.
Yeah, I think one of her most well-known songs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. I take it you like the song as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And do you feel when you listen to it that you are every woman? You get that kind of feeling, yeah? I'm gonna say that, yes.
It's just it's one of those ones that for me it would be on a top 5 Whitney Houston.
Yeah. I thought
Soundtrack, whatever.
I was gonna say that was a long pause, Gemma. But yeah, a top 5. Okay, fair enough. Maybe you should make a Whitney Houston tier list.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there you go. That's your
Good
homework
idea.
next time. I'll make one of, don't know, someone, not Whitney Houston, but someone else. I love it. Right, good choice, good choice. Okay, my next one is what have I gone for? Oh yes, Zombie by the Cranberries.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, a bit of a kind of psychedelic rock kind of tune. It's got one of those that kind of long chorus. Quite a dark song, really, when we think about it. To be fair, like lyrically, it does explore some issues. So this was released in 1994, and it went on to reach number 1 in Germany, Australia, and France, and even topped the US alternative rock charts as well. So yeah, it's a tune, I like it. Definitely one of their most well-known songs. I do think the song also has gained more love over the last few years because I believe a few years ago, Miley Cyrus did a cover of this as well as other songs for her Plastic Hearts album. Yes, yeah, and she did do a cover of this. So again, whenever someone does a cover, it kind of brings love back to the original version. So like you just said with the Whitney Houston one, I bet that did a lot of love for the original by Shaka Khan.
Yeah, it does.
So yeah, and again, this song I'm gonna say it's about all the songs on my list. It just screams 90s to me. So yeah, it's a really good tune. Yeah, I think it's a great song, a very good rock song. And yeah, it's just got a great beat to it. It's not an intense rock song as well. It's quite a relaxing song. It doesn't go heavy, but it's good. It is good.
Now, from rock to R&B.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to go for Destiny's Child, Say My Name, which was
Oh,
released in the same year I was born, 1999.
oh, just made the 90s then.
Just about.
Yeah.
So it was from their second studio album, The Writings on the Wall, which was released the same year. It's one of the most successful singles from the album. Top 10 in Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, Iceland, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, and the UK.
Nice.
And it won 2 Grammys at the 2001 ceremony for Best R&B Performance and for Best R&B Song.
Impressive. Are you a bit of a Destiny's Child fan then, Gemma?
I wasn't originally, but then was it 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago I went to see Diversity at Brighton, and they did a performance to this. And it's
This
been
one, yeah.
They did a performance to Say My Name.
Oh, okay.
And it was really good, and the song's been on one of my playlists ever since.
Very nice, very nice. Interesting. Okay. Do you like any other Destiny Child songs by chance, or just like the main one?
No, that one for me is probably the top spot for me.
The top spot for you. Fair. I quite like Survivor. Survivor's pretty good. Don't know whether it's a 90s song though. And Bootylicious as well. I don't know whether that's a 90s song either, but that's a good song too. Yeah, awesome. Obviously, yeah, Destiny's Child obviously featured Kelly Rowland and, of course, Queen Bee herself, Beyonce, who has gone on to achieve insane amount of success. Insane. So, yeah, okay, good choice. What are we up to? Number 3, right. I have gone for it's a song by Alanis Morissette, and it is called You Ought to Know, or You Ought to Know. And it is from actually it was released in 1995, and it was from her debut album Jagged a Little Pill, which did wonders for her career. Went on to win Grammy Award for Best Rock Song. It also was nominated for Grammy Award for Song of the Year, but it didn't win that spot. But still, it's definitely one of her most well-known songs. It's basically about getting over a relationship, really. To be honest, I don't know whether it was written personally on her part, but like when you listen to the lyrics, it is basically just about letting that person know about the mess they've made. They've walked away, and they're left, and now that other person's left to deal with the mess, pretty much. So it's quite an emotional song. It's definitely a breakup song, to be honest. That's for sure. But yeah, I think it's a great song, definitely. Do you know it, Gemma?
Not that one, no.
You don't know that one? Okay.
I think I might do if I was to hear it, then yeah, I probably would know it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Gemma, you ought to listen to it. See? I've got to get all these jokes out of my system because I'm not on here as often now, so I need to get out the way with.
It just seems to be worse today, but then that's probably because you haven't been on it for very long.
Yeah, for at least a couple of months, so I need to get it all out of my system, do you know what I mean? Make the most of it before I go away.
Right, so the next one I've chosen could possibly be the arguably most popular and well-known song of the 90s. I've gone for Wannabe by Spice Girls.
Yeah, I would make that argument. It's up there.
So that was released in 96.
Yeah.
And it won Best British Written Single of the 1997 Ivor Novello Awards. And it won Best British Single of the Year at the 97 Brit Awards the same year.
Very nice.
Do you want to guess how many copies it sold since by 2017?
By 2017, how many copies? 10 million?
No, 1.3.
Oh wow, okay, I overestimated that. Still, 1.3 million is amazing. Okay, wow, nice.
And it's their best-selling single.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. To be fair, it's definitely arguably their most well-known song. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of Spice Girl songs actually. We could have done a whole episode just on Spice Girl songs for the 90s actually. Yeah. To be fair, my favourite is probably Two Become One. I think that one's great.
Yeah, I thought you might say that.
What are you trying to say? inappropriate, Gemma. Anyway, you better stop right now. Thank you very much. That's also another good one. I love that one as well. But yeah, Wannabe's really good. Yeah, okay, yeah, good choice, good choice. I think they're still planning on doing more shows in the future. Actually, Spice Girls. I reckon they'd be quite entertaining to see live. I think they'd be quite good.
I reckon they would sell out within seconds of them going on sale.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, they sold out Wembley Stadium a few years ago, if I remember correctly. So yeah, they'd probably be able to do that again. Or headline Glasgow, maybe.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Calling it here. If it happens in 2024, you heard it first on the Players Podcast. Yeah, Sally, take that, Simpsons. You're not the only ones that can predict the future.
We want some commission.
Yeah, you heard the woman. Nice. Okay, good choice. Good choice. Well, okay. So you made the argument that is arguably the biggest 90s song. I feel like my song here could maybe be a fair argument, because when I've actually looked up polls and like rankings of what people regard as the best 90s song, this is usually at least in the top 10, and I've seen this in number 1 a few times from Rolling Stone especially, and it is Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana.
Oh.
Which, Nirvana completely like brought so much to the 90s. Obviously they really got grunge on the scene. They made it a breakthrough kind of genre of music. And yeah, I mean, the whole album that this song is from, Nevermind, is up there as one of the most well-known albums of all time. Everyone knows that album, literally everyone. And yeah, this song is like the signature track from it. It literally like did wonders for Nirvana. I think Kurt Cobain himself didn't like how big they got from this song, but still, it did so much for the band and grunge music in general. So yeah, this was released in 1991. September 10th, 1991. So very early 90s this was. But yeah, I mean, this song is just heard all over the world. Like everyone knows Nirvana, but I think pretty much everyone knows this song as well. I mean, that opening guitar riff is so iconic. Just everything about this song. So you've got Wannabe, but I've got Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Well, we'll let the listeners decide.
I feel like we've cracked arguably the 2 biggest 90s songs, maybe on our list.
Maybe.
Maybe. Depends what your next one is, and depends what my next one is, I guess.
Yeah, true. So for my final one, I've gone for Everybody by Backstreet Boys.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Which again was released in 97.
Nice.
And it was their first single from their second studio album, Backstreet's Back. One of their most successful singles to date. And it reached number 4 in the US Billboard Hot 100. And it ran for 22 weeks.
Impressive.
In the charts. And it reached number 3 over here in the singles charts.
Yeah, it is probably, in my opinion, after I Want It That Way, their most well-known song. Yeah. Because I nearly did pick I Want It That Way, but when I saw you had this song, I didn't want to have 2 Backstreet Boys in this. Because, but I nearly did pick I Want It That Way. Because that song's just, iconic.
I only chose that, like, I knew that I was going to have Backstreet Boys because I grew up listening to Backstreet Boys especially, but also 90s music.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, for me, Backstreet Boys is probably favourite 90s.
Yeah, just screams 90s.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, good choice. Good choice. Yeah, I do like that. It's a good song. Yeah. Like I say, I nearly picked I Want It That Way, but I didn't want us to have 2 Backstreet Boys songs on there because I wanted to make it as diverse as we could. But good choice, good choice. And they're still going strong. They've only just toured recently in this country actually. So maybe more music on the way. You know, that could be interesting. A lot of groups from the 90s getting back together. I mean, Blur, you know, they've got a new album coming out this year. So who knows? Who knows? Backstreet Boys, balls in your court. Okay, right. So the last song I've gone for, and to be honest with you, I really, really was struggling what to pick actually for my fifth song because there's so many songs from the 90s I wanted to pick. And part of me really wanted to be generic and pick like Oasis, but I didn't because I didn't want to be too generic.
I honestly thought for your final one, you were honestly going to pick something by Oasis.
No, I didn't want to be too generic. I mean, trust me, when you think of 90s, especially in England, you do think of Spice Girls and probably Oasis and Blur, maybe.
Yeah.
They're like the big three from the 90s for this country. But no, I didn't want to be too generic. I was like, no, I'm gonna go something different because I feel like, you know, we spoke about Oasis a lot on this show over the years, so wanted to do something different. But I do think this song I've picked is very iconic from the 90s. And it is called Praise You by Fatboy Slim.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, again, this song is, everyone knows this song. I mean, this is used in countless adverts, movies. The music video itself is very popular because it's actually this dance that was performed literally on the spot somewhere in the States. It's a very iconic music video. It's a little bit weird, but it's cool. It was released in 1998, a year after I was born. And it's from Fatboy Slim's, I think it's his second album, but it's by far his breakthrough album, You've Come a Long Way, Baby, which is what up there as such a huge 90s album. Yeah, this song went to #1 in the charts, and there's been loads of remixes that have been done ever since. And yeah, this is definitely a song that like everyone knows. You know, everyone knows this.
I mean, it's just been re-released, featuring Rita Ora.
Yeah, she's added her own little version to it. So again, here we are, nearly 25 years later, and this song is still relevant in the charts almost. So goes to show, doesn't it? And I mean, Fatboy Slim, you know, he's kind of a local one for us. He's actually from Brighton, which is 45 minutes away from where we live. So got to give some love to him there. And yeah, so I thought I'd have to mention this song because, again, I didn't want to be too generic, but I also do think I'm being generic because, you know, Fatboy Slim, especially in the UK, was very big in the 90s and he still is big now. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so good. Well, I like the fact that we went for very different lists.
Yeah, I think so. And there's a few of them that I thought that you might have mentioned, but you tried to steer away from them. So it's interesting to know what other 90s music you like apart from Oasis.
Exactly. Okay. Full of surprises, Gemma. Full of surprises. I mean, I didn't even pick Green Day. Green Day were big in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't even go for them either. Yeah, so they are very good. Didn't even go for any old school hip hop either. Could have gone for Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. Didn't go for that either. See? I tried to go for things that, you know, you didn't expect. So I feel like I achieved that, which I'm happy about. Well, guys, we will be putting a playlist of the songs that we have just mentioned on our website. So if you do want to check them out, please do have a little listen through and enjoy the 90s. We are going to be doing another version of this episode, but it's going to be about the 80s, as that was also heavily requested last year too. So, and we'll probably do the exact same style. We'll both pick 5 songs from the 80s each and compare. So that could be quite fun.
Yes, I'll make sure I'm wearing my double denim.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to come up with a response to that. I don't know. I was about to say I'll put on like my Darth Vader mask, but that version of Star Wars is more 70s, if I'm being honest. So, and I don't even have a Darth Vader mask, so that failed. But yeah. But anyway, cool. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, guys, and yeah, we will see you next time. Take care and goodbye.